Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. We're coming at you with a third consecutive wide receiver committing to the Ohio State Buckeyes and Noah Rogers, the number one player from North Carolina. According to 24/7's composite rankings, he's a top 10 wide receiver, and that makes three straight star wide receivers in 3 consecutive days committing to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Again, before we get into it, I just wanted to say thank you guys for the support you guys have shown the channel. It's been a ton of fun talking ball with you guys in the comment section. We're at over 1,000 subscribers. The support has been absolutely phenomenal, and we appreciate it a lot. Now, let's talk a little bit about Noah Rogers, what this means for Ohio State, and then a little bit of talk about just college football in general and dealing with recruiting in the transfer portal. Now, Noah Rogers, I encourage, just like I encourage you guys with Carnell Tate and Brandon Inniss, go check out this guy's high school highlights. He is one of the more impressive jump ball contested catch guys. He's listed at 6'2". I think he's taller than that. He looks taller than that on the high school football on the high school football field, and he certainly plays bigger. I mean, this guy's ball skills, the physicality at the catch point is bar none that I've seen. He's really, really impressive. And you take all that physical ability, and then you go to Brian Hartline and Ryan Day, two coaches that have just a proven track record at developing phenomenal wide receivers. And that's probably his biggest selling point is, hey, you have all the skills, come to Ohio State. Again, you might not play for the first 2 years. We've seen that with a lot of guys. But you're going to develop by your third, fourth year. You are going to be one of the better wide receivers in the country. Another selling point that I think Ohio State is consistently having is you're always going to have a great quarterback and a great offense. I mean, you got Dylan Raiola waiting in the rings in the 2024 class, one of the best quarterbacks that has been scouted at the high school level. You have CJ Stroud now. You are always going to have good quarterback play. You're always going to have an offense conducive to being a star wide receiver. They throw the ball a lot. They throw the ball to a lot of different wide receivers. And so these wide receivers are saying, hey, I don't need to be the alpha in every single offense. So you had 3 alphas last year: Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, and Jackson Smith-Njigba. 3 guys who are going to go in the first round. Obviously, Olave and Garrett Williams already did. Jackson Smith-Njigba is my number 1 wide receiver coming into the 2023 NFL draft. But now you got Noah Rogers, Brandon Inniss, and Carnell Tate. It is an absolute loaded wide receiver room. In the comment sections, you guys are calling it wide receiver U. Again, as a Michigan fan, I don't want to hype up Ohio State too much, but you can't deny how impressive of a job Brian Hartline and Ryan Day are doing. I haven't seen this level of recruiting out of Brian Hartline, out of any assistant coach that Brian Hartline has done in the last couple of years. He's consistently bringing in the best wide receivers in the high school recruiting classes and developing into first-round NFL draft picks at an exceptional clip. And once you kind of have that stranglehold on that market, similar to Alabama, what was Nick Saban's best recruiting pitch to all his elite guys and why he brought in the number 1 class almost every single year was you come to Alabama, you might not start right away, but you trust the process. We have a proven track record of putting guys in the NFL. You trust the process, and 3 to 4 years, you were going to be ready to go to the NFL. That is similar to what Ohio State is probably pitching these guys. NIL might be included, but you will become a better wide receiver if you come to Ohio State, even if you're not getting the burn in the first and second year that you might expect or you might get at other places. You're going to get that here. Now, let's take a look at this recruiting class in general because it is just rounding out to be – I would be very hard to find a recruiting class that is going to overtake Ohio State. They're number 2 right now in the ranks, but that is just because they don't have a ton of commits. I think Notre Dame's number 1 with like 14, 15 commits. But Brandon Inniss, Carnell Tate, Luke Montgomery, Noah Rogers, 4 guys in the top 50. Add another guy, Dijon Johnson, who is a top 100 guy. This recruiting class is becoming extremely special, not even to mention Dylan Raiola, who is waiting in the 2024 class as one of the best quarterbacks out of the high school ranks. 2 things I want to note is, 1, the importance of these other schools like Alabama, like North Carolina, who were making a big push for Noah Rogers to stay on him. Because you never know, he might get impatient and want to enter the transfer portal. We saw that with Jameson Williams last year, and he turned out to be a stud. That just talks to the level of wide receiver play in the room. And another thing is, how long can Ohio State keep Brian Hartline? I mean, he's got to be coming up on like one of the most sought after assistants. And yeah, he's probably got one of the best assistant jobs right now as a wide receiver coach at Ohio State. It doesn't get much better than that. But teams are going to say, hey, he recruits at such a high level. We'll promote him and give him the OC job, or maybe even a head coach job. If that's how good he's going to recruit, that's what college football is about. Yes, you have to be a leader. Yes, you have to have good scheme. But at the end of the day, the best teams are the ones who get the best players. And Brian Hartline has proven to be one of, if not the best recruiter in the country right now. I mean, he's going on an absolute tear the last couple of years. If you think about the guys he's brought in, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Emeka Egbuka, G. Scott, Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, these guys waiting in the wings are generational wide receivers, and they're all at Ohio State. And so how long can Ohio State and Ryan Day keep Brian Hartline around is going to be another storyline to watch, because coaches like coaches down in Texas, coaches down in Alabama are looking at what Brian Hartline is doing and taking all these players from everywhere in the country and saying, we want that. We need a recruiter like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how long Brian Hartline stays, how well can they keep these talented wide receivers at the Ohio State program. But that'll do it for a video. I encourage you guys to go check out Noah Rogers' highlights. I encourage you guys to check out all 3 of their highlights because they're all studs. Before that, just wanted to thank you guys for all the support. Again, if you guys do like the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.